All right, here we go, folks. Thursday, and today we're going to have a niche project that we're going to start. This is actually going to this is going to be very valuable for you to keep your own copy of as well. Don't just write it down once and send it to me. I would save the file if I were you. Here is our folder in Schoology. I've got the little write-up right there. We're going to go over this PowerPoint today about cryptozoology. And here is the actual assignment. So, if you don't know what cryptozoology is, it is this really bizarre field where people look for secret animals. And so, basically, what a cryptozoologist does is they try to find animals that they think are out there, but other people have not found yet. Now, if you want an example of what does this look like, well, it looks like this. What is the large hairy thing in the background there? Kind of humanoid features. Obviously quite a bit taller than this gentleman. If you are looking at that and you're saying to yourself, I don't know, kind of looks like Bigfoot or something. Yeah! Congratulations! That's what cryptozoology is. It is the study of what we call cryptids, unknown species. Hunting for Bigfoot is just, oh, wait, there's a pointer. Yeah! Is just one example of that. Now, it is very important for all of us to have a good understanding on this before we move forward. All right, cryptozoology, despite the name sounding very scientific, using zoology, which means the study of animals, and Latin for crypto, it is not a science. Now, the reason that it's not a science is because of the way that that people go about it. Now, I do want to point out, thanks to cryptozoologists, we have actually discovered species on planet Earth that we did not have scientific evidence for before that. So there has been some good done from this, but it is not scientific. The problem really comes down to the people who do it. So a cryptozoologist, such as this gentleman, right? He knows what he's seeking. He wants to find Bigfoot. Now, if he goes out and he sets up this big experiment into the woods in order to try to find evidence or catch video or something like that, and he fails utterly, no evidence is found, is he going to then abandon that project and accept his data? Or is he going to say, oh, well, we must have been at the wrong place and do it again? And again, and again, and again. The problem with cryptozoologists is there's nothing wrong with repeating an experiment. The problem becomes when you refuse to stop the experiment, right? Science has to be based around us getting our data, accepting our data, and working with the data that we have. The problem that cryptozoologists use is that they don't follow proof. They know what they're looking for, they want to find the thing that they're looking for, and they are willing to ignore failure and the data that suggests otherwise in order to keep looking. That is the biggest problem we have, and this is why cryptozoology is not considered a science. Now, cryptozoologists will turn around and they will say to you, well, why not? This is a great example of why not. And I am sure that at least a few of you watching this have seen something like this, where they use a science-like approach, but there's no science beyond that. Never any repetition, never any proof. Ghost hunters themselves, it's just wildly fictitious. A friend of mine worked post production on their show out in California for a while, and he stated, and for the record, it may not be Ghost Hunters. It might have been one of the other ghost shows. I do want to clarify that. But he knows that on the show that he worked on, in post production, they had to cut away hours of footage because you could see the other people in the crew making the door move, or making a light thing. In one video, they saw motes floating around in their camera, and literally in the uncut version of it, you could see a guy off to the side taking little like dust and blowing it out so that they would swirl through the air in order to be seen. Right? This is not science. If you watch it for entertainment, that's great, but it's not science. So the cryptozoologist, though, will argue and say, well, what about this? That is the giant squid. And the giant squid was found, the first video evidence of it, due to a cryptozoology show on History Channel called Monster Quest. And they were able to drop the lure that you see down here deep. I want to say it was like 3,000 feet underwater. And sure enough, they caught a giant squid come up and attack that lure, and then they were able to haul it at least some of the way up. This is a later venture, right? And they'll claim, we discovered the giant squid. How could this not be a science? Well, very simply because we have known that giant squid exist for hundreds of years because their dead bodies wash up. There's a difference between seeing the evidence of the animal alive and seeing the evidence of the animal dead. Giant squid were not an unknown species, they were just an unrecorded species. Like, their bodies have been washing up for hundreds and hundreds of years, and this is not a big one. We've had squid bodies wash up that were over 100 feet long with the tentacles. All right, well, then what about something that's a little bit more freaky? This is the devil bird. And this is an artist's rendition of what the devil bird looks like. Turns out, cryptozoologists went looking for it, and this is a very real thing. Here it is. Not quite as intimidating as the artist's rendition looks. It is worth noting this is a small one. There are bigger ones, and if you shine a light at them, their eyes do glow red. So, your project, and I really didn't want to go over any others. The giant squid and the devil bird are both off limits. But other than that, I'm going to let you guys pick any cryptid species you want. You're going to need to research it, and I want to know where you get your information from. The one that already got turned into me had no bibliography, no sources cited. It didn't tell me where they'd gotten any of their information. It says read or view at least 3 articles, so I want you guys to actually do that. Take your notes so that you can define its niche. You're going to write a paragraph. Do not just fill in an answer at the end of the questions. I want an actual handwritten, take a picture or type it, send it to me, paragraph, 3 or more sentences. Tell me, what is the job of your cryptid? Remember, their habitat is their home, their niche is their job. So we want to know, what does it eat? What eats it? Is it predator or prey? Is it producer, consumer, or omnivore? All right, I want you guys to include all of this stuff when you're writing it out. Now, in order to make this even easier, if you look up a list of cryptids, on Wikipedia, click here. Um, there is no shortage of cryptids across this planet that you could pick. And that's just one source. So, the idea is pretty simple. Pick something that may or may not exist, research it, get three sources where you're getting your information from, and then tell me what is that animal's niche? What is its job in the environment that it lives in? What is the role that it is supposed to and has to play? Should be pretty straightforward. I don't require a slideshow. I don't require any pictures or anything like that. But once again, I do suggest that you keep this information. It may prove useful coming up. All right, so with that, we're all set for today. You guys just have a little bit of work ahead of you. We will not be meeting tomorrow. Tomorrow is Friday. We're going to take a day. I'm going to give you guys some time. I've assigned work Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday this week. So I'm going to give you Friday to just get some stuff done. Uh, all right. So one question just came through the chat. What if we can't find its role because it's not real? Look through, research it, try to find what it is supposed to do. If you can't find that, get a different cryptid. If there isn't enough information about it for you to get three sources and answer those questions, look elsewhere. There is no shortage of cryptids that are actually surprisingly well cataloged, if not proven. Things like Loch Ness, um, the Jersey Devil, Mothman. There's tons of these, and in all of those cases, you are going to be able to find dozens of different things that have been written, theorized, videoed about this organism and what its role is in its environment. All right, so with all of that said, I'll see people on Monday where I will be assigning your final project, which will be due before the end of school on the 17th of June. When I see you Monday, that's the first. 16 days. 16 school days. So we're getting close. I will see you folks then.